On the top floor of the library, 30 objects from the Near East, which have survived millennia, sit quietly on display. So, how did they get here?
So Ugarit is a very important site for the ancient Near East. It is located in modern-day Syria, and it is also a site that I have been working on for years. Since there was some material from Ugarit near LMU, I decided to teach a capstone seminar on Ugarit itself and its material culture.
So as seniors, Tristan and I decided to pursue that course for our final senior thesis project.
The fact that we were allowed to do such a deep dive and have so much interaction with these items from one location really provided so much insight.
I was able to borrow some of the material from Claremont Graduate University for the students to work with, and this is the material that we are exhibiting in the library.
So we would measure, document, photograph, things like that. And then once we had all those measurements and everything cataloged, we worked on how best to display it. So what goes with what, how to thematically categorize every object, and how to present this to the public.
Students learned both everything that they could on Ugarit, and also they worked on curations and exhibit design, both with me but also with the librarians.
A lot of it too was just analysis on every object that we had available to us, going over similarities, creating categories and etc., and figuring out how all that goes in the final presentation of the exhibition.
So we had 3 different projects for the exhibit that were created by students, and in the end we selected the best of each project.
Are there any standout items you're proud to have displayed in the exhibit?
There's one called the Rhyton, which is a really cool object. Not a lot of people, I feel like, would know what it is, in a modern day context, but I guess it's like a wine decanter of a sort. So it's really interesting to figure out the origins of where that came from, but also it's just extremely well designed and detailed.
So the mace head was actually the object of focus for my paper, my capstone project. It is a sort of like a club head that was used by the king to show his strength. To have an actual physical representation of the mace head while I was doing my research, it was really incredible.
Classics and archaeology majors aren't the only students with the privilege to intimately engage with the past. Dr. Fessler's Ugaritic writing workshop allowed any student to participate in an ancient practice.
Ugaritic, that is the type of writing from Ugarit. It's cuneiform, where you press a stylus into clay, and they used an alphabet system.
That might be a good first one. Does that make sense? Sometimes it's good to hold it in your hand instead of on a piece of paper. A G is really easy, right? You just go like this, and then there you have a G.
We wanted to show a few different aspects of Ugarit, so not just the pots or the different artifacts, but also something that they did in their everyday lives, which was writing on these tablets.
And what makes the archaeology department at LMU unique?
Well, it's because we have the museum and we have all of these objects that we use in our teaching. And for a small liberal art college, this is unique.
Archaeology, compared to studying the rest of history, it feels so much more tactile and physical, that being able to interact directly, physically see these objects, and be able to even touch and hold them creates a much more physical, meaningful connection to history for me.
Every object is a little facet of history, a little bite of history, and so it's our job to piece that all together, and that's where the excitement is. That's where the challenge is, but also the fun part is, what can we make of these objects and what do they tell us about previous societies?